subtraction. We use it for non-calculator ways to subtract numbers, okay? So instead of doing mental maths or work out something like this in our head, we can use this system here to help us. You normally see a question written like this: work out, calculate, something like that. And here's the something I want you to do. And we set it out like this. Really importantly though, you can see my digits are all lined up. So I've got my units here, my tens, and my hundreds all lined up, okay? So a few things you've got to remember, okay? So like 0 minus 0, well that's just 0. And we always work down like this. 8 subtract 4 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. So 680 subtract 240 is 440. Right, let's do another one. Slightly more challenging one now. Slightly different things we've got to do. We still follow the same process, but you'll see in a second. So pause the video, have a go at these two, okay? Right, so 8 subtract 3, that is 5. 4 subtract 5, right. A lot of students make this mistake. They'll just go, oh, they'll switch it round and just do 5 subtract 4 instead. No, you can't do that, okay. 4 subtract 5, and this is where you've got to borrow from the other one. So we have to borrow from our left side. So we have to borrow from the hundreds. Then that, instead of being an 8, it goes down to a 7. And then we carry one over now, and that goes to 4. So that 4, so instead of 4 subtract 5, it turns into 14 subtract 5. So 14 subtract 5 is 9. And now we have 7 subtract 7, which is 0. So our answer to this one is 95. This one, it's got slightly different challenges as well, a little bit more. So 0 subtract 4, can't do that, so we borrow from the other side. However, there's nothing to borrow from, it's still 0. So then we have to go to the next column and borrow from the 6. And that then turns into 5, and now that goes there as a 1. Right, now we go back to the start. 0 subtract 4, we can't do that, but now I can borrow from this side because it's 10. This is where a lot of students go wrong as well. You've got to make sure you cross that out. That goes to a 9. Remember crossing out, because otherwise people think it's 90. So then 1 goes over there. So that was a 0, it became 10. I borrowed from it, it became a 9, and now I've got 10. So now I can do that. So 10 subtract 4 is 6. 9 subtract 1 is 8. 5 subtract 8, I can't do that, so I've got to borrow. So 7 becomes a 6. The 1 goes over to the 15. 15 subtract 8, that is 7. And then 6 subtract nothing is just 6. Right, let's do a couple more then. A few slightly different numbers where each of them has their own little challenges. If you like the video, hit the like button, I'll greatly appreciate it, or even subscribe so that way you stay up to date with all my latest videos. Right, let's get back to it. A few more questions. More questions. This time, decimals, because so many questions involve money. So you've got to know how to do it with decimals. So pause the video, have a go at those two questions there, subtracted with decimals. Done it? Or you've had a go. Answer at the ready. So, same as before. 5 subtract 7, you can't do that, so you've got to borrow over here. That becomes a 0, the 1 goes here. 15 subtract 7, you've got 8. 0 subtract 8, you can't do that, so you've got to go over here, borrow from the 5. There's 4. Really important you keep it as neat as possible, because as you can see, I'm crossing out numbers everywhere. It can really get messy. After borrowing from the 4, I have to make sure I put that 1 over here. This is where students get mistakes, okay? It's where they mess it up because they forget to borrow it over and it gets way everywhere, okay? As I said before, make sure it's all in line. 10 subtract 8 is 2. Don't forget your decimal point. Remember, the decimal point never moves. It always stays there. 4 subtract 9, you can't do that. You've got to borrow here. That becomes a 1. 1 goes over here. 14 subtract 9 is 5. And don't forget your 1 here. A lot of people forget that. This 1 comes down here. Right, over to this one. 7 subtract 9. If you want to, just so you don't forget the decimal point, you can just put that there. That way you're not going to forget it. 7 subtract 9, can't do that. Can't borrow from here, can't borrow from here. So it's 4 becomes a 3. And now you can borrow from there. So 7 subtract 9, you can't do that. You go to this one, you can't do that. This one borrows from here. That 10 now becomes a 9. Then 1 goes here. Right, so this one's borrowed. Now 7, can I borrow from this one? Yes, because that's a 10, so scratch that off. That becomes a 9, and now borrow from here. 17 subtract 9 is 8. By this point, you usually get quite good with mental math, so you can do a lot of this in your head. But still, we've got to know, because in an exam, you might get stressed. 9 subtract 3 is 6. 9 subtract 9 is 0. 3 subtract 2 is 1. Okay, so now we're going to go on to a bit of a puzzle, like in my column addition video, where some of the numbers are missing. Little bit of a puzzle to finish on. Okay, so pause the video, see if you can fill in these missing numbers. Make sure you pause it, give yourself a bit of time, okay? Really helps you to understand column of subtraction and how it all works. Pause it, have a go. Okay, 2 subtract 3. Well, we know we can't do that, so that 6 becomes a 5, and we carry 1 over. 12 subtract 3, that makes 9. 5 subtract something is 1, so we should know that is 4. And now something subtract 3 makes 2, so we should have got 5 there. A little bit different, got to think about it a bit differently. Okay, this has been Maths with Jacko. This is column subtraction. Go over to my next video, check out the playlist. If you like what you see, subscribe, hit the like button, comment, let me know how I can improve and make it better, because it's all for you, okay, in your mathematical journey. Take care, and I'll see you next time.